Welcome to the course ICT 6900 Advanced Machine Learning, and this course is offered for April 2020 semester. Today I will cover lecture 1, which is introduction, introduction to the course and also introduction to machine learning. My name is SM Lutful Kabir. I am a professor of IICT Buet and I will be conducting this course for you. Let us start with syllabus of the course. You can see the topics that we'll cover in the lectures is given in this slide, and it's basically different algorithms, supervised and unsupervised learning algorithm we'll cover, and most importantly we'll discuss about the techniques or the situations where the machine learning algorithm should be applied and how to design machine learning systems. Also we'll show some examples of their application. You can see the lecture plan in this slide. The topics against different lectures is illustrated in this slide, and the scheduled date of the lecture is given. If certain lecture cannot be held for different reason, then makeup class will be held and that will be announced to you in due time. Let me explain the evaluation process or evaluation procedure for this course. We'll have two midterm and one final. Midterm exams will be held during class. That means on certain lecture, the exam will be held first, and then the rest of the time will be covered by lecturing. But the final exam will be held in isolated way. That means after the class is finished, and it will be declared by the university. The schedule will be declared by the university, and the marks distribution will be 30, 30, and 40. And the method of evaluation will be different kind of methods like quiz, assignment, programming assignments, and written exams with short questions and also broad questions. Before you go to introduce machine learning to you, now we shall discuss on the differences between AI, machine learning, and deep learning, because these are the terms which have confused a lot of people. And if you are among them, let me resolve it for you. Well, artificial intelligence is a broader umbrella under which machine learning and deep learning come. You can also see in the diagram that even deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Let us try to define each of them and see how they have evolved. So let's move on and understand how exactly they differ from each other. So আমরা প্রথমে artificial intelligence নিয়ে কথা বলি. The term artificial intelligence was first coined in the year 1956. This is nothing but a technique that enables the machine to act like humans by replicating their behavior and nature. অর্থাৎ এটা এমন একটা টেকনিক যেটা কিনা মানুষের মতো মেশিনকে বিহেভ করাবে, মেশিন বিহেভ করবে মানুষের মতো, যাতে মানুষ যেভাবে কথা বলে, যেভাবে চলে, যেভাবে বোঝে, ঠিক সেভাবে মেশিনও কাজ করবে. With AI, it is possible for machine to learn from the experience. The machines adjust the responses based on new input by performing human-like tasks. Artificial intelligence can be trained to accomplish a specific task by processing large amount of data and recognizing pattern in them. The concept of artificial intelligence is pretty old. অনেক পুরনো কনসেপ্ট, কিন্তু এটা নতুন করে জনপ্রিয়তা পেয়েছে. কিন্তু কেন? The reason is, earlier we had very small amount of data. The data we had was not enough to predict the accurate result, but now there is a tremendous increase in the amount of data. আমরা যদি আরেকটু প্রসিড করি তাহলে দেখতে পাবো The problem with AI was how to train more robust version of AI. অর্থাৎ যে কোনো একটা এআই সিস্টেম যদি সেটা রোবাস্ট হয় তাহলে তাকে ট্রেন করার যে টেকনিক সেই টেকনিকটা আগে সেভাবে ছিল না। This issue had the largest influence and led to existence of machine learning. এই নতুন টেকনিক অর্থাৎ একটা রোবাস্ট সিস্টেমকে ট্রেন করার যেসব টেকনিকগুলো সেগুলো আলাদা একটা ডিসিপ্লিন তৈরি করলো যেটার নাম হচ্ছে মেশিন লার্নিং। It gains its hype in 1980s and it had inherited from AI and moved towards the methods and model. মূলত স্ট্যাটিস্টিক্স অ্যান্ড প্রবাবিলিটি থিওরি থেকে মেশিন লার্নিং এর কনসেপ্টগুলো এসছে, কিন্তু মেশিন লার্নিংটা অবশ্যই এআই এর একটা সাবসেট। ইট ইজ এ সাবসেট অফ এআই। The computer is to act and make data-driven decisions. These algorithms are designed in a way that they can learn and improve over time when exposed to new data. অর্থাৎ মেশিন লার্নিং আর্টিফিশিয়াল ইন্টেলিজেন্সের একটা সাবসেট, যার মূল ফোকাস হচ্ছে মেথড এবং মডেলকে প্রেজেন্ট করা, অর্থাৎ এগুলোর বিভিন্ন টেকনিক ডেভেলপ করা, যে টেকনিকের মাধ্যমে লার্নিং প্রসেসটা রোবাস্ট হবে। আগে যেগুলো ছিল না, এখন নতুন নতুন টেকনিক এই মেশিন লার্নিংয়ে ইন্ট্রোডিউসড হওয়ার ফলে এআইটা এনহ্যান্স হয়েছে, অর্থাৎ এর একটা অংশ মেশিন লার্নিং সেটা পারফর্ম করছে। আমাদের এই কোর্সের মেইন কনসার্ন হচ্ছে মেশিন লার্নিং, অর্থাৎ বিভিন্ন লার্নিং অ্যালগোরিদমগুলো আমরা পড়ব আমাদের ক্লাসে, এবং আর্টিফিশিয়াল ইন্টেলিজেন্স এর উপরেও আরও কিছু, অর্থাৎ মেশিন লার্নিং প্লাস সামথিং এলস, এটাকে বলা হবে আর্টিফিশিয়াল ইন্টেলিজেন্স। Let's learn about deep learning. Now, what is deep learning? The concept of deep learning is not new, but recently its hype has increased and deep learning is getting more and more attention. The field is a particular kind of machine learning that is inspired by the functionality of our brain cells called neurons, which led to the concept of artificial neural network. It simply takes the data connection between all the artificial neurons and adjusts them according to the data pattern. Neurons are added as the size of the data is large. It automatically features learning at multiple levels of abstraction, thereby allowing a system to learn complex function mapping without depending on any specific algorithm. কার্ভটিতে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে আগের যে অ্যালগোরিদমগুলো সেগুলো এক পর্যায়ে যে আর পারফরমেন্স ইমপ্রুভ করে না, কিন্তু ডিপ লার্নিং ইউজ করলে যদি ডাটা বেশি ইউজ করা যায় তাহলে পারফরমেন্স আগেরগুলোর চেয়েও ইমপ্রুভ করে। Now let us talk about what this course covers. অর্থাৎ আমাদের এই মেশিন লার্নিং কোর্স কোন কোন সাইট কভার করবে সেই সম্বন্ধে এখন বলবো। We learn about state-of-the-art algorithms, but the algorithms and math alone are no good. We need to know how to get this to work in problems. অর্থাৎ মেশিন লার্নিং অ্যালগোরিদম শিখলাম, এর পেছনে ম্যাথ শিখলাম, কিন্তু এগুলো কিভাবে প্র্যাকটিক্যাল প্রবলেম সলভ করার জন্য কাজে লাগাবো সেটা শিখলাম না, তাহলে কোনো কাজ আসবে না। আমরা যেটা কিছুটা কভার করব এই কোর্সে। Why is ML so prevalent? মেশিন লার্নিং কেন এত ব্যাপক ব্যবহার হচ্ছে? Because it grew out of AI. AI ব্যবহার করতে যেয়ে মেশিন লার্নিং অ্যালগোরিদম ব্যবহার হয়, অর্থাৎ মেশিন লার্নিং অ্যালগোরিদম যদি কেউ না জানে তাহলে সে AI ভালো মতো ব্যবহার করতে পারবে না। You can program a machine how to do some simple thing. For the most part, hardwiring AI is too difficult. Best way to do it is to have some ways for machines to learn things themselves. মেশিন নিজে নিজে লার্ন করতে পারবে এইভাবে ব্যবস্থা করতে হবে। আর it is a mechanism for learning. If a machine can learn from input, then it does the hard work for you. অর্থাৎ আমি যদি মেশিনকে লার্ন করাতে পারি, তখন মেশিন সিমিলার প্রবলেমের জন্য, যেটা কিনা লার্নিং এর মধ্যে ছিল না, সেটাকেও সে সলভ করতে পারবে। For the time being, pause this video and let us watch a video that I have supplied to you, and that video is on 10 applications of machine learning. এখন আমরা আলোচনা করব what is machine learning. In this lecture, we will try to define what it is and also try to give you a sense of when you should use machine learning. কোন কোন ক্ষেত্রে machine learning apply করব। Even among machine learning's practitioners, there is not a well accepted definition of what is and what is not machine learning. But let me show you a couple of examples of the ways that people have tried to define it. Here is the definition of what is machine learning, and that is due to Arthur Samuel. He defined machine learning as the field of study that gives computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. মেশিন লার্ন করে থাকে, কিন্তু ওই লার্নিংয়ের জন্য শুধুমাত্র ব্যবহৃত হবে এমন আলাদা একটি প্রোগ্রামের মাধ্যমে লার্নিং হয় না, বরং একটি জেনারেলাইজড প্রোগ্রামকে বিশেষভাবে ব্যবহার করার মাধ্যমে মেশিনকে লার্ন করানো হয়। Samuel put forward this definition back in 1959. He wrote a checkers playing program. And the amazing thing about the checkers playing program was that Samuel himself was not a good checkers player. But what he did was he had program played tens of thousands of games against itself. Program নিজের সাথে নিজে হাজার হাজার বার খেলেছিল। By watching what sorts of board positions tended to lead to wins and what sort of board positions tended to losses, the checkers playing program learned over time what are good board positions and what are bad board positions, and eventually learned to play checkers better than Samuel himself. This was a remarkable result. Samuel ভালো checkers player ছিলেন না, but because the computer has the patience to play tens of thousands of games against itself, no human has the patience to play that many games. By doing this, the computer was able to get so much checkers playing experience that it eventually became a better checkers player than Samuel himself. This is somewhat informal definition and an older one. Samuel's সংজ্ঞাটি পুরনো। Here is the slightly more recent definition by Tom Michel. Tom defines machine learning by saying that it is well-posed learning problem and is defined as stated in this slide. A computer program is said to learn from experience E with respect to some class of tasks T and performance measure P if its performance at task T as measured by P improves with experience E. লক্ষ্য করলে দেখা যাবে we call learning only when performance improves. অন্যভাবে বলতে হবে if the performance P does not improve, it will not be termed as learning. I actually think he came up with this definition just to make it in line with the checkers playing example. In the checkers playing program, the experience E would be the experience of having win or loss when the program plays tens of thousands of games itself. The task T would be the task of playing checkers. শুধু খেলাটাই হলো task T. And the performance measure P would be the probability that wins the next game of checkers against some new opponent. Let me now ask you one question. প্রশ্নটি স্লাইডে দেয়া আছে। are on the top of the slide. Here is the definition of machine learning by Top Mission. Let us say your email program watches which emails you do or do not have spam. So in an email client like you might click spam button to report some email as spam but not other emails. Based on which emails you mark, your email program learns better how to filter a spam email, and this is the task T. Let me know which of these four you think is the right answer to this question. Hopefully you got that number 1 is the right answer. Classifying email is the task T. শুধু মার্ক করাটাই হলো task T. In fact, this definition defines the task T, a performance measure P, and some experience E. So watching your labeled emails as a spam or non-spam, this would be the experience E, and the fraction of emails correctly classified, that might be our performance measure P. In this way, our task T enables the computer to gain the experience E, and finally the performance measure P improves. In this course, I hope to teach you about various types of learning algorithms. There are several different types of learning algorithms. The main two types are what we call supervised learning and unsupervised learning. I will define what these terms mean more in the next couple of classes. It turns out that in supervised learning, the idea is we are going to teach the machine how to do something, whereas in unsupervised learning, we are going to let it learn by itself. আমার কথা থেকে যদি এখন কিছু নাও বোঝা যায়, কোনো সমস্যা নাই, আমি বিস্তারিত ব্যাখ্যা করছি। I am going to say exactly what these two types of learning are. You will also hear all buzz terms such as reinforcement learning and recommender systems. These are other types of machine learning algorithms that we will talk about later, but the two most used types of learning algorithms are probably supervised learning and unsupervised learning. And I will define them, and will spend most as far as talking about these two types of learning algorithms. Again, we will spend a lot of time on this course in practical advice for applying learning algorithms. It is like giving you a set of tools, and equally important or more important than giving you the tools is to teach you how to apply these tools. I like to make an analogy to learning to become a carpenter. Imagine that someone is teaching you how to be a carpenter, and if he says, here is the hammer, here is the drive, here is the screwdriver, and here is a saw, good luck. Well, that's not good, right? You have all these tools, but the more important thing is to learn how to use these tools properly. Vishal Parthakya. We can distinguish between people that know how to use these machine learning algorithms versus people that do not know how to use these tools. Remaining part of this lecture, I am going to define what is supervised learning, and after this, what is unsupervised learning. Now I am going to define probably the most common type of machine learning problem, which is supervised learning. To explain in a better way, I will start with an example, and we will do the formal definition later. সংজ্ঞা শেখার আগে একটা উদাহরণ দিয়ে বোঝানোর চেষ্টা করি। Let us say you want to predict housing prices, and let us also say a student collected data sets from a city, and you plot the data set, and it looks like this. Here on the horizontal axis, the size of different houses in square feet, and on the vertical axis, the price of different houses in lakhs of taka. So given this data, let us say you have a friend who owns a house which is 750 square feet of area, and they are hoping to sell the house, and they want to know how much they get from the house. So how can you use the learning algorithm to help him? যে এরিয়ার মূল্য গিভেন ডাটাসেটে নাই এমন একটা এরিয়ার বাড়ির মূল্য সে জানতে চায়। One thing a learning algorithm might be able to do is to put a straight line through the data. So a straight line is fitted to the data, and based on that, it looks like maybe their house can be sold by about 190 lakhs of টাকা। যদি বাড়ির মূল্য সরলরেখায় ভ্যারি করে তখন 750 স্কয়ার ফিটের বাড়ির মূল্য হবে 190 লক্ষ টাকা। But maybe this is not the only learning algorithm. There might be a better one. For example, instead of fitting a straight line to the data, we might decide that it's better to fit a quadratic function or a second order polynomial to this data. And if you do that to make a prediction, then it looks like maybe they can sell the house close to 210 lakhs of টাকা। যদি বাড়ির মূল্য দ্বিঘাত সমীকরণে ভ্যারি করে তখন 750 স্কয়ার ফিটের বাড়ির মূল্য হবে 210 লক্ষ টাকা। One of the things we'll talk about later is how to choose and how to decide, do you want to fit a straight line or do you want to fit a quadratic function to the data? Each of these would be a fine example of learning algorithms. So this is an example of supervised learning algorithm, and the term supervised learning refers to the fact that we gave the algorithm a data set in which the right answers were given. That is, we gave it a data set of the houses in which for every size we told it what is the right price, what was the actual price, and that holds. And the task of the algorithm was to just produce more of these right answers, such as for this new house, you know that your friend may be trying to sell. এখন যে কোনো সাইজের বাড়ির মূল্য বের করা যাবে। Let us summarize the example problem. Given this data, a friend has a house of 750 square feet. How much can they be expected to get? What approaches can we use to solve this? If we fit a straight line through the data, maybe its price would be 190 lakhs of taka. And if it is second order polynomial, then it could be 210 lakhs of taka. One thing we discussed later, how to choose a straight or curved line. Each of these approaches represent a way of doing supervised learning. What does it mean? We gave the algorithm a dataset where a right answer was provided, so you know actual prices for houses. We can learn what makes the price a certain value from the training data. The algorithm should then produce more right answer based on new training data where we do not know the price already. That is, predict the price. This is also called a regression problem. And by regression problem, we mean we are trying to predict a continuous value output, namely the price. The prices are actually discrete value, but usually we think of the price of a house as a real number or a scalar number, as a continuous value number. And the term regression refers to the fact that we are trying to predict this sort of a continuous value. Given ডাটাগুলো দিয়ে একটি সমীকরণ বের করা হয়, ফলে যে কোনো